You are welcome to this class where I will be sharing 5 tips on how to play hymns and classicals with ease. It is assumed that you are already familiar with the rudiments of music, but if you are not, this class is not meant for you. Please note that what I'm sharing in this class is based on hands-on experience. So let's get started. Playing to notes is like reading a book. If you are going to read a book efficiently, you must be ready to look at the next word, interpret while you are pronouncing the present word. For example, if I say good evening my fans, before I call good, I must have called evening in my mind, and so on and so forth. I believe you understand what I am trying to explain. So that means for a student to sight read efficiently, he must be able to apply this example I just said about reading a book. So apparently, the same thing applies to sight reading. But while you read from left to right in book, as for music, you read from top to bottom on the bar. Now, you must first be familiar with your keys. We have 12 major keys. You must be familiar with the scale of the key. Once that is done, then let's proceed on the tips I want to talk about. The first tip is what I call the black and white key location. The black and white key location. The black and white keys are to guide you around. It is like walking around in your room in the dark. I bet you can locate where every item is by just placing your hand in front of you and moving around. Exactly same way with your keyboard. Fixating your eyes on the music piece, the black and white key guides you around. For example, on your keyboard, if I take the key of C, for example, you know where we have Do on key of C. It's the white key before the 2 black keys. And Mi is the white key after the 2 black keys. That means if you close your eyes, touching the 2 black keys, you know where the Do is and you know where the Mi is. So that means the white and the black keys, they are guiding you around on your keyboard. Secondly, the second tip is learning how to play slowly. Learning to play a piece, even on instruments that require one note at a time, demand learning at a slow tempo. Instruments like saxophone, clarinet, guitar, trumpets, they all require one note at a time. How much more playing average of 4 notes at a time on organ or keyboard, as the case may be. So take your time to do it slowly until you are familiar with the piece. If you are learning how to drive a car, it is expected of you to go at a very slow speed. The more you get more comfortable, the more you can increase the speed. The same thing applies to playing a new music piece.
The third tip is finger spacing. Coupled with the black and white key guidance, our finger, the spacing of our finger also help us to navigate around the keys, the spacing. When I see 2 notes, for example, a note from C to G, so I know I will just position my finger in such a way that the index finger is on one, the thumb is on another, it just fall on it. So also different notes that we may encounter in the journey of the different chords we meet along the way. If I'm going, for example, from an octave higher from a note, I must have, by reason of practice, I've stored in my brain this spacing of the finger So in such a way that once I just stretch my finger, it will land there. You understand? So having trained my fingers in such a way that I know the spacing that will go from one note to the other. So that will help me to know how to position to space the fingers so that we land on the right key. So that is that about finger spacing, which by constant practice that will be very easy. You can easily pick a hymn once you have really mastered the use of that finger spacing, coupled with the black and white key guidance. You can pick a new hymn and you play it almost immediately. Okay, using these 3 tips I've shared so far. Now the 4th tip I'm sharing is what I call specific fingers. Specific fingers. Now when we are practicing a music piece, let us stick to a particular finger for that piece. It's very important, because anything you are doing, the brain is making a record of it. So it's not professional or playing a piece and you are using different finger on a note. Maybe use the index finger for a particular note. You finish that piece, you come back, you want to play second time, you are changing the finger to another finger. No, you are confusing the brain. So you must, that's why we said you practice slowly, so that you assign the right finger to the notes. So when you are now playing again, you use that same finger on the notes so that the brain can record it. You'll be confusing your brain when you are changing fingers on the note. It's very, very important. So if, for example, I'm putting my index finger on C. So if I decide to use the middle finger on F, so anytime I'm playing that particular chord, so I must make sure I use that same finger. I mean the index finger and the middle finger. Is very, very important. It helps us in, mastering our piece in time. So that is specific fingers. Now the next and the last tip I want to share here is what I call the movement anticipation. When you are learning a piece, or check the progression of your piece, and then make fingers available for the next note. Like I said about reading a book, be sure of your second move before you strike the first chord. It is noteworthy to say here that the more you put your hands on different music pieces, the more your brain will quickly yield the next chord to you more easily when you are playing a new piece. No shortcut to hard work, really. So that movement anticipation. Now study my piece. For example, my piece is half notes going towards the left. So I have to prepare my fingers in such a way that I will have extra fingers left to press my keys. You understand? So I must look at my notes, the way they are arranged on the bar, and say, oh, I will still need to be moving in this direction. So I must know how to arrange my finger in such a way that I have extra finger left to press those notes. Then I must know how to move my finger in such a way to accommodate such notes. So
I may need to. I will show this in another class. Uh, I will bring different scenarios for this, where you will see how fingers can be moved on the keyboard, so that no matter where how the note is arranged, you know how to move. But you only have 5 fingers, and the keyboards have many fingers, so to say, has many notes. So you have to be going either to the back, to the left, or you are moving to the right. So those combinations now, how do you do it? How do you anticipate the movement? Very, very important. How to change your finger, to move your finger in such a way that it will help you to play those notes that are in code beyond your reach. So that is what I call the movement anticipation. So I will, in another class, show you a couple of such scenarios, so that it will help us in playing our music piece efficiently. All right, as simple as these 5 points are, putting them to use will magically help in sight reading and playing of music piece, especially our hymns and classicals. Thanks for watching. Bye.